Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochatar. So the Oli government is gone. Nepal has slipped back into chaos. Predictably, this is something that I had spoken about yesterday. On my Facebook post, I had commented that the textbook case of what Oli would happen to him has happened. I had said very clearly after Sheikh Hasina, now Oli is going and the deep state is at work. Look at the pattern. Students out on the streets, clashes over an issue. In Bangladesh, it had more to do with elections, which the students have nothing to do with. But then they were brought onto the streets. Today, of course, the same students are protesting against the present government. In Nepal, it is something different. In Nepal, ever since the royal family got wiped out, completely wiped out in a murderous rage that took place a decade and a half ago, Nepal has been on the boil. We had successive governments who came in and left, the communist led by Prachanda, and then we had some other government in between, and finally now we had the Oli government, which it is alleged is corrupt. But then which government in Nepal was not corrupt? They were all corrupt. The present problem was to do more with China. And in fact, as news comes in now, the students have entered the offices or the party offices of Oli and torn down the Communist Party flag there. In fact, they entered many houses and many offices and tearing down the communist motifs that are there. So were the communists a target? Was China a target? If China had to go, who was interested in letting China move out from there or pushing China out from there? Naturally, the United States. They did it in Bangladesh, they did it now in Nepal, and of course they tried doing it in India, it didn't work. They did it in Pakistan where they put an elected government led by Imran Khan in jail and duplicate is ruling the country. The same thing happened in Bangladesh. The same thing is now happening in Nepal. The question is very simple. Why? It is a case of geopolitics. The United States wants to rule countries by default. They tried everywhere. Remember, it started with Vietnam, didn't succeed. They went to Somalia, didn't succeed. They went to Iraq, messed it up. Before that, they went to Afghanistan, messed it even more up. Then they have been in Pakistan in and out forever. Then, of course, we know many countries where they put the foot in, messed it up and then left. It's not that Nepal is going to go into a mess, but Nepal is very, very crucial for India. Because more than 60 lakh Nepalis, according to some figures, work outside Nepal and many of them in India. In this case, it started with a very trivial issue, the shutdown of internet or rather the social media including Facebook and other mediums. Now obviously the Gen X, as they are called, got onto the streets. Just because the internet has been shut down. We have shut down internet many times in India when there were violence, when there were riots. Nothing of this sort happened. Obviously, the entire thing has been orchestrated to get Oli out of office. Even Bangladesh, it was to ensure that a jihadi regime came into office. In Nepal, we need to see whether a Hindu kingdom will come into office. A few months ago, if you recollect, there were agitations, huge agitation, demanding that the monarchy should be brought back. But then it never happened because the monarchy doesn't exist anymore in Nepal. What was touted to be the only Hindu kingdom in the world is now hanging in balance. It went the communist way, it went the democratic way, it went the left way, and of course it's now going left of center or right. Nobody knows what will happen in Nepal. For sure there's no government now there. Whether a new government will come in, we don't know because their democratic institutions are not strong, like in India. Here, despite Rahul Gandhi's attempts to do the same thing in India, I repeat, Rahul Gandhi tried to do the same thing in India, he failed. His Bihar Yatra was one such affair. He tried the Bharat Jodo Yatra before that. He tried the farmers' agitation. He tried the Delhi riots. Everything he tried. They were all a part of the Soros Open Society Foundation book. This is the way they want things to be done. They want regime change, and he's very openly said it. But now, with Trump in office, George Soros is gone into the background. His son is running the show now. But for sure, George Soros will be back with many other things. He's funding the Congress party in a huge manner, indirectly, of course. He's funding a lot of NGOs. He's funding a lot of media houses, including YouTube channels. And we know all that. It is known to the government of India. They have cracked down in many cases. Chinese fund many YouTube channels. Everybody does it. Good old Soviet Union used to do it with Blitz run by R.K. Karanjia long back when I was in school. But things are different now. Regime changing is happening in every other country now. Luckily, we in India are not a part of it. There's real danger that it can happen in India. And they tried in India. But our democratic institutions have held up. Our police forces, our army never interferes in all these things. But on one hand, we have a violent streak of Mamata Banerjee. On the other hand, a crucial state on the other side, Pakistan, near Pakistan, which is Punjab for us, is having the same kind of attitude where Bhagwant Mann doesn't listen to anything. And of course, most importantly, are some chief ministers who say that jihad is good. Some chief ministers in India. And you know which states I'm talking about. And this is the danger. This is an omnipresent danger that the culture of violence which we saw in India, which was sought to be brought by Rahul Gandhi in many cases, has been quashed. The vote chori campaign was one such which wanted to force Modi out of office. And remember Kharge's statement, Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, making a statement saying, Modi will be out in 6 months. That is a warning for India, that this is the game plan of George Soros being funded and of course run by the Congress party. How does Mr. Kharge know, or how does Mr. Kharge think Mr. Modi will go out of office? He is a democratically elected prime minister of this country. Of course, you don't like him. Doesn't mean that you can do a Nepal or a Bangladesh in India, Mr. Kharge. It will not happen. And for sure, let me tell you this, that the government of India will leave its full term, and it will lead the full term, and Mr. Modi will be there back again. You may not like him, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, or Mr. Kharge, or Mr. Pawan Khera, or Mr. Jairam Ramesh, or Supriya Shirante, or the INC Kerala Twitter handle. None of them like Mr. Modi. But then they got to live with him. There's no choice. In fact, as we speak, the presidential election voting is underway. And we know the results. We can take it for granted. But remember, the candidate on the other side, Sudarshan Reddy, went and met a convicted criminal, Lalu Prasad Yadav. Imagine a former judge goes and meets a convicted felon. And what does he have to say about it? He's justifying it. Ladies and gentlemen, these are individual dots. You need to connect them. We may think that one incident here or one incident there is not a pattern. There is a pattern. They tried in India, they tried desperately to bring down Modi many times. The farmers' agitation was one such point, but Mr. Modi saw through the game and immediately withdrew the bill, which I think that was a mistake. He should not have withdrawn it. Anyway, that's for a political game that was out there. The Delhi riots was stage managed. The Sharjeel Imams and others were rotting in jail, should rot the rest of their lives in jail. Did the same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, don't think that you won't be impacted by this all. Sitting in the drawing room and saying, I'm not interested in politics. Everybody is corrupt. Look at the roads, look at the drainage, look at that, look at this. What are you doing as a citizen? If you become apathetic to the entire thing, one day we will have dictatorship in our country. We will have a Nepal or a Bangladesh where homes are looted and burnt. We will not have a law and order to speak of. So get out of this attitude that I am not interested in politics. You need to be. Because if you don't elect the right government, then you know what will happen. We're seeing that in some states in this country. I don't want to name them again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a stark warning for us. What has happened in Bangladesh and now what's happening in Nepal and what happened in Pakistan. 3 countries around surrounding us. And all the 3 had the same story. Sri Lanka is another test case for us. If something similar happened there too. We are safe. We are not an island, but we're still safe. Remember that. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.